House of the Dragon, the stakes were high. Game of Thrones, the stakes were high. This is where it's all about a young man and survival, and I feel I like that.
There's this low bond, they don't know where they've come from, sort of kind of a thing.
Egg and Dunk are giving massive bade chote vibes.
Heard about Sir Duncan from the person who spoils every freaking show, Joffrey Baratheon himself.
But I think they've stayed true to the novellas completely.
Or Targaryen, Prince of Dragonstone, heir to the Iron Throne.
What's up, guys? How are you guys doing? My name is Shravan Shah and I am here with... Bhavna, do you want to introduce yourself? That's Bhavna Agarwal, guys. Moving on.
Hi, I'm Jinal.
Hi, this is Abhimanyu.
Wow. Monica and Kunal. Moving on.
My name is Monica.
Hi, I'm Kunal.
Wow, they
Hi,
did
I'm
such an
Bhavna, finally.
Finally. Also, her name is Bhavna, finally. Her name is Bhavna, finally. But we are not here to introduce ourselves. We are here to talk about
The
drum
world
rolls.
I mean, we know that when George R.R. Martin writes something, it gets adapted for TV. Of course it does, whatever he does. And when it begins with a bang. Except this one began with
Shit.
And dicks.
We are talking about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. In case you haven't watched it, please go watch it.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's on
Where do we
JioHotstar.
have to watch?
I think by the time this entire chat gets over, you can take a shot every time I say moving on. Yeah. So, हम क्या बात कर रहे थे?
हम ये बात कर रहे थे that A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is as unlike GOT as it can be, because GOT, we think of George R.R. Martin, we think dragons. We don't have dragons here. We have a 7-foot fool and a child who's bald. Is it good? Because we were expecting dragons, or were we? Monica?
I genuinely feel I wanted to keep it low-key in terms of like, with House of the Dragon, the stakes were high. Game of Thrones, the stakes were high. This is where it's all about a young man and survival, and I feel I like that, genuinely.
Isn't that Jon Snow too, though?
Yeah, but I genuinely like that. Even then, it was about great war.
Yeah.
Here, it's just about him finding his identity and just survival, I think.
Yeah,
That's what
because
it
I
is.
think it's more like a coming of age. There is, you know, like this buddy cop as we were, talking about. It just completely deviates from what the world used to be. And I think in the best way, because you sort of need, like, I don't know, sometimes you just need that breathers in one way or another.
I agree. It's the most peaceful I've felt while watching a World of Ice and Fire
Minus
show.
the shit.
I know.
And then when you settle into it, bam.
Yeah. Shit
No,
comes
but
in.
for me, I think it took me a while to actually believe that this is the same world, because I was like, am I watching a different show? Because there are no dragons, there are no fights. I mean, I'm used to brutality.
Recut kare, Bhavna thought it was a pirated show.
Contrary to what everybody is
I might
believing.
have actually thought that if it was not for the screeners, which came from if it was not for the screeners which came from official PR,
Sources, yeah.
I mean,
Suppliers.
I would have really thought, because it really took me a while. I was just like, listen, there's no brutality, there's no bloodshed. Like, what is happening?
There's no childbirth scene in the first episode.
Yeah, like, what is happening?
The most gruesome thing
Contrary to what all of y'all are saying, I actually was a little disappointed because I love the dragons and I love the monsters and I love everything that happens in Game of Thrones and House of Dragons. So I was like, I miss that.
But you know,
I'm not. This is not a complaint. I was a little disappointed. So yeah.
But I like how they subverted that. The scene that everybody's talking about, the shitting scene, of course.
Yeah.
It builds on with the GOT theme. So people asked, are you shitting on the franchise? No. But what it's trying to say is that if you have sort of any expectations that this will be GOT, no, it's not. It's a young man who shits at the thought of not even war, a joust. So that is what it is. And I love how unserious this show takes itself. It's, are we allowed to say, a Knight's Tale GOT edition?
But I genuinely like that Dunk is very naive about pretty
The
much
world,
everything. Every time someone is showing him a bit of kindness and he's just like, oh, this man is of honor, but it's just, and also the lords and knights are walking together. There is hierarchy culture, but at least you can meet the lords faster.
But I think it's also because it comes at a time where the entire Targaryen
bloodline,
it kind of is on the
ruling
verge of a
everything.
collapse, right? So I think that is why it makes it easier for all of this to happen.
I think this is the period of like peace after a very,
Very
long
long
time.
Yes, yes.
Because if I'm not wrong, this is around 290 AC.
No,
no, no.
209, 209, yeah.
209
209
AC.
AC.
It's after the
AC.
Blackfire
So
Rebellion.
after the Blackfire Rebellion, everything is a little quieter. This is like the calm before the storm
the
that
storm.
will come.
That is Game of Thrones. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes. And
This
also,
isn't it previously 64, almost a century before Game of Thrones?
Almost
Almost like
Yeah,
78.
70,
70
years.
70, 80 years
Yeah.
before Game of
Yeah.
Thrones and 100 years after House of the Dragon.
Yes, yes.
That is how it is.
Or isn't it the other way around?
No.
That's
Pretty
exactly
much the same.
70
But
years
also,
before.
I
what I
feel like
did there.
Dunk is a very unlike hero because we are used to
Haan.
seeing everyone in a very different avatar, especially if we come from Game of Thrones. But Dunk is like, I'm looking at him, I'm like,
Yes.
he's so naive.
Because we are
Like, so freaking
we are used to
nice,
Ned
but
Starks
yeah.
and Daemons,
Yeah.
and this is like Dunk
Yeah,
as thick as a
everyone is
castle wall.
contemplating, everyone is conspiring usually in this world, and he is literally so away from all of that. And I feel that was refreshing, honestly.
I am
to
not
watch,
used
yeah.
to my GOT heroes being bullied by 13-year-old girls.
Yeah, exactly.
hey, have you forgotten Sansa Stark? She can do it. She can do it.
True.
Even Arya, for that
Even
matter.
Arya.
But
Not in season 1 though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, a different take to this is because see, this is great to know that everyone is on the they like the whole subverting away thing and everything. However, I'm sure you all have seen it. There is some sort of a discourse that is happening with fans and everything. They are marking it out that no, this doesn't feel. Of course, it's minus the dragons. They understand that the timelines are not, when the dragons are there, and the kings are not going to be so active per se, so to speak.
Yeah.
But they still don't like the idea that okay, this is rather meh, as to calmly put it. And I don't agree with them, but I do believe that that's a constant that's continuously
So
coming.
But
up.
also
the reason,
there are
one
more
minute. So the
episodes
reason
to
for
come,
that
yeah.
is also because let's deep dive into the world of George R.R. Martin, right? The first thing that all of us saw was Game of Thrones, where we had dragons, we had the Night Walkers, we had wolves, we had every maniac shit possible out there, right? What came after that was House of Dragons, where you of course had dragons. So if you
Even bigger,
actually, so when you actually see this in the timeline, this is the only one that has none, and that's why the fans worldwide also are little like, this is
probably
man,
like-
I'm one of them.
And have you?
I agree.
But that's the whole point, right? Like you want to see the world of Ice and Fire that Martin has created in an entirety. So far you've gotten like Game of Thrones, which is like a House of Cards. You've gotten a Succession drama, which is House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
But what about the small folk? What about the low bonds? And that is why, like, this is my theory. There are no opening credits, no title sequence,
Exactly. True.
because गरीब लोगों को नहीं मिलता.
But did you also see that
He's saying
that
true to
when
the
it starts
theme,
building
right?
up,
Very
okay, and when the
close
music
to
just starts, and then
You think he's
cut
going to do
to-
something brave
Yeah.
or like something?
Yeah, because he doesn't come from privilege. It's about the story of the ordinary. So
But
that's
also,
probably the reason.
kudos to them that they've kept
Yeah.
it like that, right? Like they could have incorporated instances where things could be a little more like heroic,
I
but
don't
I think
want
they've
that.
stayed true to
I-
the novellas completely. so.
I am against those fans completely who say ki no, we want dragons, and I'll tell you why. And I go back to Star Wars. Star Wars is a buffet of spin-offs and genres.
Yeah,
It
correct.
started as a space opera. Mandalorian is a western. Andor and Rogue One are heist dramas. Mandalorian is also a buddy cop coming of age thing. So if they can have different genres, you can say Andor में तो lightsaber ही नहीं है. You can say that there's no lightsabers, there are no Jedi's there, and you can simply say that is it Star Wars without that? So I'm saying yes, there are no dragons, but it is still a Song of Ice and Fire without that, because we still have the same Targaryens, the same Baratheons. We are still meeting those people, and we have heard about Sir Duncan from the person who spoils every freaking show, Joffrey Baratheon himself.
Yeah.
But
The
thank
man-
God for him.
The man spoiled House of the Dragon even before it was made. The man spoiled A Knight of Seven Kingdoms before it was made. There's a reason we hate that character.
but we love the guy.
I mean, we love the
We
guy.
love the guy. We love the guy. Egg and Dunk are giving massive bade chote vibes.
But
Bade mein chote bhi
yeah,
are.
vibes, that's true. I mean,
But they're
so
so
actor
cute.
as well,
Egg is
yeah.
amazing.
Egg is so
Dexter.
sassy. If there was a roast for my life,
But
I would
who is
want
Bade
him
Mian and who
to.
is Chote Mian?
Yeah, I mean,
Well.
Because
Mentally
sass
for sure.
wise,
Yeah,
Egg is
yeah.
Bade Mian.
Yeah.
True.
That's
And you
true.
can clearly see from the very first episode, he knows in and out
Yeah.
of what a family lord family looks like. And
For a
obviously,
reason.
for a reason, we'll get to know in further episodes. Yeah.
yeah.
But I genuinely love the fact that the moment we meet him, and that there is also an Easter egg inside when they are trying to have drinks. He's trying to have a drink.
Exactly.
And you meet a certain character. And I was just genuinely, there is a reason it's been shown, right?
Yeah.
I was genuinely the first episode, if you know, you know. But I genuinely love the fact that the first meeting between Egg and Dunk is genuinely like, what are you talking about, man? And he's just like, you need to listen to me.
Also, I have a question to everyone who's watched 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Will Egg get that clout in his ear? That is being promised by Dunk so far.
I don't think
No,
so.
I don't think
I don't think so.
I think this is story about survival. I think he's just going to be one of those people.
Because
like,
Dunk has threatened to hit him about half a dozen times already now. But I don't
it's
think he
too
has
sweet
it
a
in
guy
him.
to do that.
Yeah.
I feel he's too innocent and too nice of a guy to do
He can
any
barely
of
hit
that.
himself, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Also, he was
But you
someone
never know
who
when push
Sir,
comes to
like he
shove,
talks
yeah.
about the
Yeah.
fact, right, that Sir Alan used to hit him only when
He deserved it.
But he
deserved
deserved
it.
it, yeah.
And I think it's just the fact that Dunk is a little slow. Like, I love you, Dunk, but he's a little slow, which is why he's not able to catch on to, you know, Egg not being who he says he is. But I think it's going to unravel slowly, and long before the time comes where he needs a little bit of tupply on his head, it's going to be fine.
Also, can we talk about
But
the part
the moment,
where...
no, but I am also curious, once he knows about this, do you think because he now also recognizes that he's no longer just an outsider, but he's actually from the royals, Tapli सच में मिलेगी
No,
फिर?
of course not.
Oh, did we give a spoiler there?
But he's big
अरे
on.
novellas में लिखा हुआ है यार, काय का spoiler
But
बताओ?
I
Arey.
think he's
Still
still.
watching shows, they would not know.
Yeah. What happened to that? No, but before we were jumping from that. I also love the part where both of them are watching the joust, and he's sitting on his shoulder,
Yeah.
and the way Egg is so excited,
Yeah.
screaming. I'm like, bro, I want them to stay alive, and I hope they do. Just saying.
But you know,
Just saying.
this is the
Bahara spoiler bata.
first Song of Ice and Fire show where I'm not worried about the character's mortality that
Right
much.
away.
Partly because I've read the novellas, but also because there is no anxiety of a fire-breathing dragon coming there, or simply the Ned Stark trauma is like main character है इसको थोड़ी मारेंगे. That
Also because it's from a single
Well, that was
POV.
the first time
That was the
actually.
first time we
I was very.
All of us are shocked.
I was very shocked because I thought that there is no way this is gonna go
Yeah.
further. They are not gonna
I'm
do.
like, he's
by
an-
that time, I had not read the book.
So the thing is, I was like, Sean Bean,
Yeah.
main character.
Character.
ये तो नहीं
not
जाएगा
get
ना.
But if you know Sean Bean as a character in movies, you know that this
But the moment that happened, I was like, oh yes, Sean Bean. Had to happen.
2020 hindsight.
But to come back to this is the first time I am not worried for my heroes or even my villains. Because I know people can be brutalized, they might be beaten up, he might get a tupply on his head, but there's no death looming, at least till now.
At least for now.
Yeah.
Also, how cool is it to see Targaryens, without their dragons?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
I
so
mean,
But they are
Powerless
arrogant.
in a way. Arrogant, yes, but powerless.
एकड़ी
that's
नहीं जानी चाहिए.
वो तो
But
जाना
that's
है.
it. It has to do with
You do not remember Daenerys' brother,
Yeah,
do you?
Oh, of course.
But
Which
they've
is-
genuinely. Sorry.
Yeah,
please
no,
go.
no,
please
no.
go.
Which is even crazy is Daenerys' brother, and funnily, George Martin also I think said that he also didn't visualize Viserys to be
Yeah.
that bloody, brutal, and asshole kind of a person that he was. What managed to be in the show, and here we see that right away as a hint with Tyrion coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like the moment you look at him, like, oh frick, this asshole is here. I just had that immediately, and you know what happens and why Aegon and everything. You will get it, everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would not spoil it.
Now
right
that
away.
we've mentioned Targaryens, can we talk about the wigs?
the wigs. Monica has been
wigs.
wanting to talk about the wigs. Yes.
Because this is my gripe with any show. Because a lot of actors do not color their hair. So the whole idea is stick to the first season of Game of Thrones wigs or do not do it at all. My biggest gripe is that.
GOT first season had wigs?
Yes.
Michelle,
Let's
like
not-
I'm surprised how Monica's talking about wigs and not the swords. If you know.
Yeah,
you
I know.
The sword.
You know what?
Especially
The sword.
I was trying to keep it
Episode 2. What was that? Can you please talk about that?
That, like I said, that was 1 inch longer than Ilya Rozanov's.
Oh my god.
TMI, but okay.
TMI.
In the
If you know, you know.
Yes.
my thing is, GOT is big about long swords.
Yeah.
What swords are we talking about?
The man
same
would
ones?
lumen here and there.
My thing is, I did not expect publications to come up with size estimates.
Yeah. Only Western publications are able to do all of this.
Yeah. I mean,
Investigative journalism.
do you not want to be there?
This is my moment.
But you know, in the West, there are entire interviews of the prosthetics
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
talking about how long, pun intended,
Yeah.
it took them to
But that's a
create that
legit
prosthetic.
job as
But
well.
that's
is, it
great.
is.
That's
Yeah.
great. I love
What
when
is great?
shows like
Gina?
this. No, I love when shows like this will talk about the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
For example, if there is an intimacy scene, and then when you push forward intimacy coordinators and you highlight what
Yeah.
job they do, that's
Same.
so important. I know that Game of Thrones has been doing it
For
In
a
fact,
while, yeah.
Yeah, House of the Dragon, the way they show intimacy, all of these things are so important. And I feel like this is something that we joke about, but any regular viewer, this
Yeah.
is our job,
Yeah.
but any regular viewer will not know. Sabko lagega sach mein hai, but
Yeah,
it's
true.
interesting
That's
to
a
know.
process.
Like
Yeah.
the first,
Yeah.
perhaps, to even do
Yeah,
this
yeah,
intimacy.
probably.
Okay, because we mentioned Targaryens. Can we
Yeah.
talk about Daddy Targaryen? Okay, because he's everywhere on the internet. I know this is not really moving on, and this is not about that size, but it's about like brain power. Baelor Targaryen, Prince of Dragonstone, heir to the Iron Throne, and also
Not with the wig.
featured on yes, not with a wig. His hair is actually something that made a lot of people think that he's a
Yes.
bastard.
He has
but
a
he's
dark.
not.
He's a dark hair with
He's a
silver
dark hair with
strands.
silver
Yeah.
strands.
But in the books, he is written as black of hair.
Yeah.
He's one of the rare
Yeah.
Targaryens.
So it
with-
was one of those
Oh.
rare
That is probably
conversations
why
also
the
builds,
entire
na?
theory about him and Dunk as well, right? Like,
Yeah, because his mother had black hair, so
Yeah.
he favors to.
But that was also a conversation. Game of Thrones was sticking to the silver hair, and
Yeah.
same happens
Yeah.
with House
House
of
of
Dragon
Dragon.
as well. Only the bastards were the ones
Yes.
with different hair.
But here the thing is,
Yeah.
his mother is a Dornish woman. So
Yeah.
his father, who's the king, King Daeron II,
Yeah.
was the one who brought the kingdom of Dorne, into the
Into
Seven
this whole
Kingdoms,
thing,
and
yeah.
that is
That
obviously
is how it
through
became the
marriage.
Seven Kingdoms and not the
Correct.
Six
Yeah.
Kingdoms.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is.
But I
Although-
love the scene between him and Dunk. It's
Oh,
one of my
it's-
favorite
Yeah.
scenes.
It's so
He
good.
gave him the honor to talk. Like, a lot of people were just like not talking to Dunk.
Why Michael
As an
is just
outsider,
sitting and
yes.
fucking with her.
Yeah.
Martha's expression, give him an Emmy already.
Because it was quite interesting because the first introduction we get from Prince, like the brother, Prince Michael.
Thanks, Monica. I haven't watched it.
No, this is the second episode.
episode.
Darling, this is the second
Oh
episode.
yeah.
The first we are not processing.
तो हम कहाँ थे?
So basically, yeah.
Also, I don't know, I have this stupid habit whenever I see something, I try to get doppelganger, sort of people that I think he looks like him. Did y'all feel Baelor sort of looks like Stannis Baratheon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen Dillon, I mean.
Stephen
Yeah.
Dillon,
But in
yeah.
terms of personality, it's Mekar who's like Stannis.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
The amount,
Purely the,
the
the
amount
look,
of eye rolls he's done in just the few minutes that we saw.
When Dunk tells him
Yeah.
that your princess might be dead, that's why they're not here, and the face he makes, like that would have
Yeah.
curdled milk. I'm sorry, but
It's one of those moments where you feel like, I like this character. I'm gonna hate him so much.
yeah, exactly.
But that's the,
And you
I think
need
that
people.
Martin's
In
world.
this world, you
hate
need
it, but
people.
you love
On
it.
the
Yeah.
topic of Targaryens, I love Aegon's casting
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he
Very
looks so much like Jace from House of the Dragon,
Correct.
Yeah.
and he's his brother's grandson, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
which makes for familial
Yeah.
resemblance so much.
yeah.
So
True.
Absolutely.
the effort that these guys have put in finding actors who can act and look
And look
Very
similar.
similar.
Like-
One of the things is I love that behind the scenes that they have shown how it went through and how
Right.
much work has gone into simple hair. So I feel like that is where casting works really well.
Like, I mean,
No,
we've
even with
all
Peter,
talked
for
about
that
Alicent
matter.
casting and Rhaenyra
Yeah.
casting. That was
Yeah.
like,
That
I
was
don't
out of
think
the world.
there
So
has
good.
been a better casting of two actresses in the same role, those two. But this is also noteworthy because nobody would have said anything had he not looked like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
yeah, that's
effort
also
to say, no, this is a family person, has to look like that actor, we'll find somebody who resembles. Just jaw, the nose and everything.
And actually.
That is...
Now,
No, but even the
phenomenal.
creator,
Very
Ira, she's spoken about how Dunk's character as well. To
Yeah.
find Peter, they had to be sure that he's a certain height because obviously he's
6'5", right? He's
right?
6'5".
That's the
So
constant.
they were one of the reasons why Peter got that role because he was closest to that height. Like
And
they're
Alan
so
Ritchson can't play
particular,
everything.
yeah.
No? That's also.
That's true.
Alan Ritchson is just too old for that,
Just
otherwise
too
he
old
would have
for
done
that,
it.
yeah.
But which is your favorite scene
My favorite.
from the 2 episodes that are out? Like, go for it, everybody. Which is your favorite scene?
No,
Shit
my
show.
scene is the confrontation right away. I love it. The confrontation between Dunk and Baelor. Oh my god. And because I couldn't take my eyes away from Aegon in that. I'm like, yeah, they are having fun. I love he's noble, he's kind and everything. I'm like, fuck you. I want to see Meka's expressions because he's so good.
I think my favorite scene is the one that where Dunk and Egg are sitting, right before the
The
tug
joust.
of war, before the tug of war, where
They're having a banter.
They're having a
Yeah.
banter. They're having a conversation, and Dunk
And he
sitting
goes like, what?
and Egg asks him, "Do you
yeah,
think
what
I'll
did
be
you
a
do?
knight?"
Yes.
yeah.
And
You're
then
a
Egg
likely
says,
fellow.
you're a likely fellow.
Yeah.
Like you'll become one. And then Egg says, "But I'm so puny. Even for like kids my
Even for
age."
kids,
And he
yeah.
said, "You'll grow up."
Yeah.
When I was young, people used to say that I am
Stupid.
Yeah.
And then he looks at him,
that's-
yeah, that's my favorite scene.
yeah.
And then X says,
And?
and how did you answer people who said that you're stupid?
And then he goes like, don't.
I was waiting for
That's
you
my
to
business, none of
That's
yours.
none of your business, yeah.
And
Egg's reaction.
Egg does the John Travolta.
I thought that's a very Western acting suddenly in a period space.
Exactly. I was because that's such
Also,
a rare thing to
that
do
is-
in this
that is
world.
one of
All
my-
the younger Targaryens are very Gen Z because Aegon also with the
But I genuinely, what I loved as a scene was the episode 2's ending. It has so much heart in terms of he always thought that his master is going to be known amongst the people,
Yes.
but nobody remembers him.
Yeah.
And it has such a heart, but also that very moment when Egg is playing and he
Yeah.
mentions Blackfire
Blackfire
Rebellion.
Rebellion.
But Bastards Bay, and I was just like, he didn't hear, Dunk didn't clearly hear that moment because that's such a big moment that has stayed in Westeros in general. That rebellion, it was 64 years before
Before
the
that, yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So I genuinely love that Dunk was so engrossed in that moment and trying to understand whether he's going to ever get included in any house at
House
all.
ever, yeah.
And that very moment and that the scene in the first episode ending also when they are looking at the stars and
Stars.
So
everything.
that's my favorite
That's so much
scene
heart
because I feel
towards
like
the
the
end in
entire
both
show
episodes.
is actually the basis is bromance between
Yeah.
them, right? So that really highlights.
I'll come back to
also-
what Jinal said, and my favorite scene is also that, and for
Yeah.
another reason, because he says, you're a very likely fellow.
Yeah.
Because Egg will be, spoiler alert, Aegon the unlikely.
Yeah, true.
He's Aegon the unlikely
Yeah.
because he's the fourth son of the
likely.
fourth
Yeah.
son of
Exactly.
the king.
Yeah.
So he should never
He
be
should never ideally be there.
the king, but then shit happens, as we know,
Yeah.
it
Shit
happens in
all-
Westeros.
She just keeps happening.
The line is you're a likely fellow has to be one of the cleverest
Yeah.
Easter eggs out
And-
there. Easter eggs, pun intended.
Yeah.
I think this show does for Game of Thrones and stuff. After a point, because there were so many theories out there, the foreshadowing, the Easter eggs became very in your face.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Right.
here it's so subtle that there are
Yeah.
these small things that happen, and then you will the scene that you were talking about in
They're
the
on the
first
dragon.
episode at the end. When they're looking, there is a
Practice
tree,
stars, yeah.
and then the shooting
Yeah.
star.
Yeah.
And I remember that scene happening, and the star goes, and then 1 second later, again, I'm the Leonardo meme, but I'm like, oh my god, that's a sigil.
Yeah, but that's
enough
such a beautiful
about-
way. Yeah.
Enough about Dunk and Egg. Can we please
he's
talk
the
about Lionel?
Lionel Baratheon, my king.
What an amazing guy! We love him already!
Can we? Do we agree that we ship Lionel with Duncan? I know.
Yes!
Yes.
Yes.
Of course we do.
I am on board with this.
Yes.
Heated rivalry! Heated rivalry!
Rivalry But in period.
Although again, spoiler alert, the rivalry will not happen
Not
until
happen. In a very different manner later. We'll come to that.
They are friends.
Yeah.
They are on the same
They're
team.
friends. They're just friends.
In
But
the
I like the part where they were drinking,
But
and the
yes.
cut shot is with him wearing
Wearing
the
his
clothes.
Yeah, I know.
What just happened here?
But that's such a
Dunk is
nice
the queen.
way
Dunk is
to
the
just
queen.
show that Lionel
lords
just
and-
yeah, but
yeah.
in general Lionel liked the conversation
Yeah.
in general. He also gave him the honor in terms of respect that this man wants to talk to me properly. I genuinely liked that entirely in the first 2 episodes where the ordinaries and the lords are
Also,
walking in
don't
hand
you
in
think
hand
like
in terms of-
it's such a beautiful theme that plays out here where Dunk goes and meets these lords, right? And the ones that he thinks are like important are actually not that important, and they're all so mean to him.
Also,
But
And the one who is
guys.
important
the
is
ones
actually
that are in power, like
Yeah.
Baelor, Targaryen, and then Lionel, they are in power. They are lords, and they are also so nice.
Yeah, it's
And then
difficult to believe knowing
Yeah.
how Targaryens
And that kind
are
of is
later
like a
on.
sign to you that if you are a nice person and you're in power, like there is so much prosperity, there will be nice things around you. The king, in fact, King Daeron, is also a nice guy. He's a good guy. And like
That's why
good
it's so
people
peaceful.
promote good people, and then there is peace in the kingdom.
Basically, what Jinal is trying to say is people who are in power will not throw shade, and people who aren't will
Yes.
power will, just like any other field,
Be
including
secure.
ours.
Be secure in your power.
I would have said something.
Also, Game of Thrones
this is purely
Disregards
fictional.
this.
Any resemblance to people in Bombay is purely
Yeah.
coincidental.
I bet you didn't know this.
I bet you didn't know that.
Also, I am glad that we had tap dancing in Westeros. And I have never seen a more sexually charged tap dance between 2 men.
Hey, I have.
He did right.
No, it has nothing to do.
I was like, many
I have. It's always a Western romance show where they show bromance and it's something else only.
Matlab, I am disappointed it did not end with a hug and a kiss, whatever it is. But for that, I would want to ask, there are so many obscure book facts which are not even in A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms,
I love this.
but also in A Song of Ice and Fire in general, which I just want to address because we were talking about Lionel Baratheon, and I have a thing to connect Lionel Baratheon to GOT season 8. We all agree it was a dumpster fire, but there were few nice moments in it. One of them was that song that Podrick sings,
Yes.
which is Jenny.
Jenny
song.
of Old Stones.
Jenny of
Jenny
Old Stones.
Yeah, yeah.
Who
I
was
was
Jenny
humming
of
it, I
Old
was humming
Stones?
it constantly.
Who was Jenny of Old Stones? She married Prince Duncan.
Duncan.
Yeah.
Prince Duncan is the son of Egg, named after
Yeah,
Duncan the
that
Tall.
one.
Naming your son after your bestie.
Yeah.
King
That's
move.
very cute.
Right, but how does Lionel Baratheon come into the picture? Because Jenny is a common folk.
Common folk, yeah.
So Prince Duncan falls in love with Jenny,
Jenny.
Goes against his father, marries Jenny. He was betrothed to Lionel Baratheon's daughter.
Yeah.
Lionel revolts, and there is a trial by combat of Sir Duncan the Tall versus Lionel Baratheon.
Lionel Baratheon.
Now's your chance to say.
I bet you didn't know this.
The biggest connection, the biggest ancestor connection is actually our hero Sir Duncan the Tall,
And-
who eventually led to another very tall knight. Can you guess? Can you guess? Please call her Sir.
Sir Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah.
She was knighted.
Because again, the line, please.
I bet you didn't know this.
Game
I
of
don't think they
Thrones
can use
season 8. Okay, that is the episode. It's one of my favorite scenes
Yeah,
from that season.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Where you have like a bunch of people. There
Yeah.
is Sir Davos, there is Tyrion, there is
Yes.
Podrick, okay, and there is Jaime and Brienne. And then Jaime says something which was also there in the first episode of A Knight of Seven Kingdoms. He said, any knight can make a knight.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he knights Brienne of Tarth. And that episode, drumroll please, is called A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. So you had a spoiler from
The
way
Also, in the books, Brienne in her father's castle
Yeah, she
finds a
finds that-
shield,
finds a
shield.
which has a shooting star.
Yeah.
Right.
It could be Duncan's shield.
Yeah,
probabilities.
Also,
There is
Also, there are a lot of
variation.
theories about
also
those
there's
things
another
also,
theory,
because
fan
a lot-
theory,
yeah.
of Sir Duncan accompanied Aemon, who is Aegon's brother,
Aegon's brother, yeah.
to the wall when he
Wall.
relinquished his title.
Yeah.
He later became Maester Aemon, we have
Yeah,
seen in
yeah,
Game of
yeah.
Thrones. And he stopped over at Winterfell, where he, fan theory says, met Tansel Too Tall, who we see in Game of Thrones as Old Nan.
That is one of the more wildest.
Because
I
she
was
is
gonna
a
get to that.
storyteller
Yeah.
who is raising the Stark kids with her
Yeah.
stories.
And she tells Bran, Sir Duncan's story is
Sir
your
Duncan's
favorite.
stories.
Yeah.
And there is another theory that Hodor might be their
I had
descendant.
Yeah, I heard about this too.
Because he anyway had a vision as well, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Or was
you
it
know-
because of Bran?
Yeah, and this leads to the wildness of all these theories
Yes.
because there is also that theory that his descendants might also be Clegane.
Yeah.
The Clegane brother, Mountain.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. That comes to the picture. Then there is another theory that when he again coinciding with this one only that they went to the wall and you actually sort of already touched upon it. But there is like this wildness. I in fact noted it down also. I'll just Then there is the time travel theory.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, I had noted it down because I read it immediately after the second episode. I went to here, I was just, time travel is and then there's the theory about Blood Raven.
Yeah, the
How does he
Raven
come
But
into the
because
picture?
we are talking
Brendan
about
Rivers.
visions in general, and
Yeah.
because going back to first episode and Darren the
Darren.
Drunken, in general, because magic has not gone completely from this era. It is mostly like people considered him because he was drunk and having visions,
Right.
and because he was having visions, he was getting drunk. So it was kind of all of this combined in general is because people have and it was very prophetic, in terms of like everything would happen. People would not believe it because they were just like everything. There's no dragons, there's no fantasy, so they don't believe in that magic
I
side.
kind of have a theory because, again, book fans will know that what happens to Egg when he grows up, he becomes
Yeah.
Aegon.
Yeah.
And we all know how, some people know how Aegon dies.
Yeah.
Very bad way.
Yes.
And the
also
purpose, the thing that causes his death is that to spoil it, he's looking for dragons, basically.
Yeah,
Dragons
yeah.
that have not been there in the kingdom for a while.
Right.
Now think about how he's raised on these values that, Dunk has
Yeah.
imparted to him, that you have to fight, you have to be this guy, and now
Be
he's
the
looking for a
noble
quick,
person.
sort of like a shortcut to getting getting power through dragons. And it makes you wonder if, how House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones connected with that dagger where the prophecy just suddenly comes into the picture. I wonder if they're going to do something like this for Aegon, the fifth story as well, where he's doing fine, everything is good, and then he finds out about this prophecy and he's like, sab chodo, let's get magic back.
Yeah.
And then that's how,
Then
things
it
unfold.
But I
Because it is
that-
very
isn't that-
unlikely
yeah.
for Aegon to go after dragons.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
been
Knowing the way he's
But the one time he
Yeah.
does, and then
Then, yeah,
everyone
it
knows
goes
what
on.
happens.
But they're coinciding to that. Now, I read this because I read one book back then. That when he was born, when Aegon was born, he was given a dragon egg.
which is at Summer
Which
Hall.
is,
Which is at Summerhall.
which is at Summerhall, and it never hatched.
Yeah.
So it's one of those longing things that
Yeah, yeah.
when it becomes that I want dragons back, sort of kind of a thing. Because now he
Of
knows
course.
that when he grows up to
Yeah.
be, and there's war and everything.
Yeah.
So I think that's also one of the
But I think the
coinciding stuff.
intention was never to have that power. Like,
It's not about power, I think
yeah,
it's
it
about
was,
lineage.
It's about
it was
lineage.
lineage and also to kind of be there for people
Yeah,
and
yeah.
save
Yeah.
people, because I think that was always the upbringing that he has
He's
had.
an Aegon, not an Aerys. So, coming back to Aerys, the one thing that Lionel Baratheon and Duncan also does is that Prince Duncan relinquishes the throne when he marries Jaehaerys.
Right.
So the throne goes to Jaehaerys.
Yes.
Jaehaerys' son is Aerys the Mad King.
Mad
So had Jenny of
And
Holstone not
then-
happened, the Mad King wouldn't have happened and Game
Yeah.
of Thrones
It
wouldn't
wouldn't
have happened.
happen. Then we actually end
So,
up
I'll
not
end
meeting
this on a
the
tragic
mother.
note.
Yeah.
The most tragic thing that Duncan the Tall is told
Yeah.
is if you dance with the dragons, be prepared to be burned to death.
Yeah.
Which is how.
Which is
Spoiler alert.
forcing what happens
Duncan the Tall
exactly.
dies protecting
Protecting
Aegon
Aegon.
in
Yeah.
a fire.
Yeah.
Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to play a game. I'll begin with you actually.
Of course.
Okay, which house, according to you, has a better sigil? Stark or Targaryen?
Targaryen.
Targaryen. Agree.
Targaryen.
Targaryen.
Stark.
I'm more of
Targaryen.
Stark.
Both of you can go home. Guys. Okay. Second one.
You're right.
For you. Second one
Stark
for
is
you.
something.
Pick your weapon: a Valerian steel sword or a massive morning star.
I don't even care about massive moonstone. Valerian steel sword.
Of course, Valerian
Who the fuck
steel.
even chooses the other?
Yeah.
We've already
I
seen
need
massive
to kill
moves.
a white walker.
I know.
Okay.
Beautiful Valerian.
Yeah.
You're a hedge knight. Do you sleep in a hayloft or under the stars?
Under the stars.
Damn. Okay. The ultimate squire. Egg or Podrick Pale?
I don't know about Egg's other prowesses. Podrick, I know. Podrick.
I bet you didn't know that.
And Podrick has to serve his master in every way
Genial,
possible.
you are revealing stuff about yourself.
Okay. A few things about Game of Thrones we'll never know.
No,
What
but
happens
also
with those
about
girls
And Podrick. It's between the girls, Podrick, and probably
George R.R. Martin.
ये राजपूत
Okay,
से
next
अच्छा आ
one.
गया.
Better night name: the Tall or the Kingslayer?
the Kingslayer.
Absolutely.
Sorry,
Did you
Sir
say no?
Duncan.
No, I said yes.
I'm already tall, so.
Westeros, sorry. Westeros vacation: High Garden or Dawn?
Hi, Garden.
Monica,
You don't want to vacation with a sand viper?
No,
What is wrong with
exactly.
you?
I mean, I would have
sorry.
said.
Sand
Okay.
vipers के साथ
सांप सीढ़ी खेलेंगे क्या? नहीं.
The egg test: shaved head to hide your identity.
Yeah, I'm anyways getting bald. So.
I don't think Kunal got the memo that this was not a therapy session. First way to go: Dragonfire or a tournament lance to the throat.
I mean, Dragonfire, right?
No, but Dragonfire is the best way to go.
Yeah.
People will remember you.
No.
She doesn't want to die.
How many people who died in a jousting tournament do you remember from all
Yeah,
the
but a dragon killed you.
It instantly.
Yeah.
It will kill you instantly.
तुम्हारा हिस्ट्री में नाम है डायरेक्ट.
पर तुम जल
अरे but
जाओगे
मुझे
भाई।
हिस्ट्री में जाके क्या
भावना।
करना है? मुझे प्रेजेंट में रहना है
Bhavna,
यार.
you'd rather
ways
go
to die.
you'd rather gurgle to death with blood coming out of your throat.
People remember Damon's wife also because of other things.
It's okay, Bhavna's answered us.
Bhavna
The
answered.
remaining people are losers.
Yeah.
Okay. The worst Targaryen. The better Targaryen. Sorry. Better.
The worst.
Same question.
Better.
Yeah, same thing.
Daenerys or Rhaenyra?
Ooh,
That's a tough one.
That's a
I'm
very
loyal to
tough
my
one.
girl Daenerys. Yes,
Which
yes.
one? Which one?
आप मुंबई आ
Daenerys.
सकते हो। आप
Daenerys.
मुंबई आ सकते
And
हो।
The aura farming that she has done.
Before her
Yeah, I love Daenerys,
But
guys.
I
For 6,
love
7
Rhaenyra
seasons,
also.
yeah.
I love her till she
Yeah,
dies.
they
My
should have never
problem-
kept two women.
See, she again bringing my real side out, but she gets to be
mad
with
about this
Matt
now.
Smith. She gets married to Damon. So
Damon, yeah.
I don't know. This is a Sophie's choice question. I think.
No, but my problem with Daenerys was only that her Heisenberg moment was condensed into one episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is the only issue. Otherwise,
That's
it's a
true.
perfect character.
Yeah.
That's true.
Question
That's why
for
we
you.
need George R.R. Martin to give us Winds of Winter, so it can be like a gradual process.
Before
I
he
think
dies.
we will die before that happens.
That is true.
Talk about yourself. everybody.
No, given Ajka's
You will come back as
Okay, Abhimanyu, the question for you, the big one. Is a true knight even?
the fact that you asked him.
Pun intended. All sorts of puns.
All sorts of pun intended. The sword. Okay, it's called the big one.
Yeah.
Is a true knight even possible in Westeros? What the fuck does that even mean?
Oh, a true knight who
Yeah,
keeps
yeah.
all his vows is not possible in
possible.
Westeros because everyone who has tried to keep their vows has been beheaded
Yeah.
or burnt in fire. Like, Ned Stark, well, not Knight actually, but
No, you're right.
he
but
died.
Yeah.
Barristan Selmy exiled.
Exiled.
Duncan, we'll see what happens to him. But anyone who has tried to be just, and that is what Cersei and Littlefinger tell everybody, that if you
Yeah.
play the Game of Thrones, you can't be just.
Yeah.
And even Sansa Stark, with all her innocence, had to turn into a scheming Machiavellian person to survive. So no, I don't think you can
There
survive.
cannot be one true knight.
Your favorite a character from Game of Thrones that you love and a character from Game of Thrones you hate.
Song of Ice and Fire character that I love and I hate.
Huh.
A Song of Ice and character that I love is Jaime Lannister. He has an arc.
Okay.
until it was ruined in the final season. We'll not talk about GOT season 8, but yeah, I love that he has an arc because he comes across as the man you There are many characters who come as lovable and then become despised, like Walter White, for example, or Saul. But he is one who is utterly despised, child killer, and then he goes to be a very sympathetic character. I love him. Someone I hate, he did not have to yell, you raped her, you killed her.
Oh shit, I was gonna
You know, he could have simply killed him
and be done
with it instead of dancing around.
Yeah.
You know, I hate him for that.
Miss you, Oberyn Martell.
Miss you, Oberyn Martell, but I hate you for what you did to yourself.
Justice for Oberyn Martell.
And so this
We
is
love
like,
you,
this
Pedro
proves
Pascal.
that whether you're a hero or a villain, do not do big monologues before killing people. My most favorite, I think he kind of took it, like Jaime Lannister is my most favorite, but if not Jaime, I love Tyrion. I think I relate too much to him. Again, I hate him for what he did in the end. You know, who has the best story than Bran? No,
Anyone but
that's
Bran.
not.
Anyone but
But
Bran.
I like, he's also the author self-insert, and I'm a writer, so I kind of like, I don't know, I like the way that he is, and he takes his shortcomings and then turns it into power. He has some of the best lines on the show.
I
so
also
really
Absolutely.
like him.
Peter made this character even 10x.
Yeah.
So much better. What a great actor. The character I hate, I don't know, I don't like Sandor Clegane just because he's monstrous as fuck. But I also don't like, you know, Lysa Arryn. I don't know, I just, she gives me the creeps.
Yeah, thank you. Good.
She gives me the creeps. Like, I've seen so much on Game of Thrones, but I just don't
Both
like
the Arryns.
Both the Arryns. That kid.
Both the Arryns.
Robin.
Oh my god.
Take him out.
Take him out. Take
Through
him
the
out.
moon door. Through the moon door.
Through the moon door.
Yes.
Okay, for you.
I think I have a almost like I don't hate no lust never for this character, but like a hate and love relationship with this character is Littlefinger, because I feel like that reminds me a lot of Shakuni Mama for some reason. I mean, if I have to draw a parallel, it's
Fair,
like
absolutely.
it's like, so I can't say that I completely hate it, but I don't love it either. So I have a very
Love-hate
complicated relation with that character. And the character that I love is Arya Stark, because I feel like she had an arc, and for someone, I mean, I am someone who loves a great storytelling when it comes to women, and she had an arc which I personally loved. In a world which is dominated by men, she really had an arc which really resonated with me.
Fair. For you.
Yeah. So for me, I think the one I love, I know it sounds the most weird one, I think maybe, but Tywin Lannister.
Nice.
I don't think, you know, he gets enough credit, and especially, oh my god, Charles Dance is so freaking good in the show, in the limited, you know, screen time, so to speak, he gets. He just has this swagger, you know, like he
I love his
comes
introduction scene, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Very
Skinning.
He just
And then everyone tried to
And he
repeat
gets
that
good
scene.
lines too.
in,
he
like,
gets
you
great
couldn't do-
lines.
Any man who says he's the
Any
king
man
is
who
not
says
the king is
king
a
is
great
not-
line.
And the basin as well. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's as you know, I can just
And
go
his
around
death
with
scene,
it.
Is-
And
again,
that
shit.
That shit again.
That's it.
We have to round up with shit.
It has to end up in shit.
And the
Exactly.
character you hate?
Yeah, this is going to be the most controversial one, but Jon Snow.
I hate Jon Snow.
Characters that I hate.
I hate Jon Snow
Okay, tell
because
me your reason to hate Jon Snow.
I don't want it.
For being the stupidest, naivest
Give
person
me your
ever.
reason to hate Jon Snow.
Naivest person ever, you idiot.
Absolutely.
How the fuck can you be so naive? Especially, okay, one is like, you know, okay, that's also, I'll just nerd out a little extra here. I see the parallels between Sir Duncan and Jon Snow a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, there's this low bonds, they don't know where they've come from, sort of kind of a thing.
Insecure.
They're insecure, they are naive and everything. But Sir Duncan is in his early days. This guy has gone through the entire world. He still is fucking naive. How can you
He
be
didn't
so
learn to
naive?
play the game.
My reason to hate Jon Snow
Or he
is...
did, but he was trying to be nice.
Thanks, Bhavna.
Sorry.
Respect.
Sorry.
Thanks. But my reason to hate Jon Snow is that 3 seasons, the dude is just existing. I'm like, bro, why are you existing?
Bro, you got a
You are
chance to
just
be live
existing.
again.
Yeah,
You
like,
were
what
dead
the-
and you got
No, but
live.
that is still later in the season. I'm saying first 3 seasons, the dude is just literally existing.
My reason to hate him is season 7 and 8. When you come back from the dead, you must find some purpose to your life.
Yeah, how can you not have
That's what
purpose
I'm
throughout the
saying.
show?
when you come back from
isn't
the
that-
dead and someone offers you the throne, you're
isn't
like,
that
yes,
the
this is my
writing
divine
problem?
purpose.
Yeah, that's
You
actually
don't say, my
all of
queen,
these
I don't
are-
want
Yeah,
it.
that's why we are
Why did
purely
you come
suckering it
here?
on the
And I
show
just
basis.
died.
Okay, guys, it was Monica's now.
Yeah.
Chance to
No, but
answer.
isn't that a
Monica.
writing problem with Jon Snow? I feel that's
I
what
do agree.
No,
writing-
absolutely.
All of the characters we love and hate are writing problems only.
Yeah. Nothing based on the
Technical problem.
I have two characters. One is Rhaenyra and one is Daenerys. I genuinely love the fact that these two characters are written, even though I kind of know that certain moments I dislike towards the end of the Game of Thrones and all, but I genuinely love how empowering these characters
Yeah.
are. But the character I hate the most, genuinely, if I were there, I would kill him as well. It's Ramsay Bolton. I have never hated a character more. And the funny part is I've interviewed this actor. So, and
He's a sweetheart.
But he's
sweetheart.
Ivan is probably the sweetest person I spoke to, and it just broke me in minutes here because I've hated this man for years.
This happens with Joffrey. Like,
Yes.
it's surprising none of us met
Exactly.
Joffrey,
Joffrey.
everyone hated collectively.
Exactly.
I know, but I'm
Because
surprised
he
yeah,
was
nobody named him
he was
Joffrey.
not just a brat, he was just a hater of everything.
He was
So,
evil.
but with Ramsay, you could just see your blood boil to the point where what he did to Sansa also. I couldn't stand this character, and I'm so glad the way he dies is probably the
satisfying death.
satisfying
That's a great
moment.
example of a character really well
Yeah.
written.
Yeah.
Where
Oh, yeah.
you hate, like
The actor.
Joffrey and him, both the characters
Yeah.
are so well written that you hate
But
them
I
every
genuinely
bloody
don't feel.
time.
I don't feel it is that well written as the way Evan performs
it.
it.
Yeah, I think
Because
it
he
is
made
all-
it so much more wild than
Yeah.
it was supposed to be.
Same
and
with
it
Jack
just,
also,
yeah.
you know, the way he's performed
Yeah.
Joffrey.
Yeah,
I know both are written very well as well.
Yeah,
But
and
it-
I
they've
think
been taken-
people, or I've always wanted someone to ask me who I ate because I was just like, it
Ramsay.
is this guy.
My favorite Game of Thrones moment is just when Reek loses his sword. And cut to the next scene is he's eating a
Eating
sausage.
sausage.
I'm like, oh my
Bad one.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
But now I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, which character, seeing whatever you've seen of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which character do you think you will end up hating at the end of
Yeah,
season
good
1?
question.
Tell me.
I have a feeling that something about Lionel might piss me off, I guess.
Oh no.
But
As
I
much
love
as
him
I want
already.
to.
I
I
know the
love him
answer.
already, and so many times I've loved a character and they've disappointed me, just like all men.
Gio,
so-
if that's the case,
Oh, dropped a bomb. She said like all men.
well, that all men must die.
yeah.
I think that should be the rap. That itself should be the rap.
But I'm gonna do one thing. We have A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, as we discussed, is like a buddy cop, lighter thing in a world of ice and fire. And I think that Martin's writing are ripe for every genre. That we have Game of Thrones, which is almost House of Cards. Then we have House of the Dragon, which is House of Cards on acid. And now
but
we have
fantasy.
this. Yeah,
High
fantasy, high
fantasy.
fantasy. I'm thinking, what are the other spin-offs do we want in different genres? What can we do in the horror genre in the world of ice and fire? My thought is the Long Night.
Yeah, because
Small
that,
folk fighting against
but that
White
was a
Walkers.
conversation for a very long time,
Yeah,
right?
like a long night thing. Like, how did small folk living near the wall fight the White Walkers? Not the knights, not the castles.
Yeah.
These people who have nothing, they are fighting. I would love to see that. Or a very Breaking Bad type descent into insanity for the Mad King, ending with Robert's rebellion.
I want to see what happens.
Ending
with
with
the
Robert's rebellion,
I would
Rhaegar's
love to
tragedy.
see, in general, Baratheons also as a story. Because
Yeah.
they had such a great arc in the books. And I would love to see that.
I feel like-
Baratheon rebellion was probably the biggest
Yes.
moment.
And I feel like, remember in Game of Thrones when Cersei says that a young Robert was like a
Yeah,
formidable
exactly.
force. Like
Formidable
imagine Cersei Lannister
Yeah.
having a crush on someone.
Other than Jaime.
वो तो घर की बात है. I mean, to think that she had a crush on this man, she wanted to marry him. I want to see a young Ned, a
Yeah.
young Robert,
A young Rhaegar.
a young Rhaegar, a young John
It would be
Arryn.
pretty interesting.
It would be
So that's
pretty
what
cool.
the descent of Mad King ending with Rhaegar's tragedy and Robert's
I want to see
rebellion.
like a Dil Chahta Hai friendship, ZNMD friendship version of like Robert Baratheon and Ned Stark and John Arryn.
Yeah.
Like here, like they're friends and they're traveling, they're doing these fights and everything. That would be very
They
good.
were
There are not
planning.
enough. There
what do
are
you
not
want?
enough books on this, right?
There are not enough littling. House of the
तब तक
Dragon.
तो होगा.
George R.R. Martin is writing
No, but
everything
what-
except
what I'm-
Winds
what
of
I'm
Winter.
But I
Fully
like
clear.
this idea. Like, I would love to have this.
What
as
would
a
you want,
spin-off.
Kudal?
Yeah.
What would you want?
No, I mean, I honestly, I've always, you've already said it, but even from the day of the first time I ever saw Game of Thrones as, fresh viewer and everything, of course, everybody loves, hates characters and everything, but I could not stop thinking about the Mad King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think there is just, it was sort of like a legend was built around him.
Yeah.
That, okay, who the fuck was this idiotic guy,
Burn
who
them
did
all.
shit, who burned everything. So I want to see that story. And that just would probably have
Right.
all sorts
Yeah,
of...
same.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I
And-
said that I think...
And because we're talking about the Mad King also, because fire is such a big deal, the tragedy at Summer Hall
Summer Hall.
would
Yeah,
make
Summer Hall, exactly.
such...
But there are theories that this.
I want to
novella
see
might-
the curse of Harrenhal. Everyone who has stayed there has died.
The ghost
what
of
happened?
Harrenhal, yes.
Because I think Aegon's conquest would be the most boring show ever. All of people have said
Yeah,
Aegon's
but that's
conquest.
one of the reasons I've always liked Baratheons, because they had so
Huh.
much
And
interesting
people say
conversations
Aegon's
also
conquest
about
with
it.
Henry Cavill and all that. I think it will be boring because Aegon never
Henry
faced
Cavill?
opposition.
Yeah, that was like...
now I'm changing my mind because Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
Because Aegon's conquest, he came and within 1 year he had the entire continent because he had 3 dragons. And so if you
And
win every
sisters,
battle
and two sisters.
so
That's
if
the
you are
sisters.
winning every battle,
Yeah.
there is no drama there.
Yeah.
I would rather see old Valyria.
Dragons are a cheat code. Old
Valyria.
Valyria would
Valyria.
be... The Doom of Valyria would be such
Or
an interesting
HBO,
thing.
this is my pitch to you, nobody else.
We will write-
Let's make a show about a sellsword and a faceless mercenary going through Westeros, and all the important incidents are happening around him, just like Rome. Rome is told through the
I missed
point of view of 2
Right.
small soldiers, so it's a mercenary, and everything from Robert's rebellion to everything is happening around him. People will watch it.
Yeah,
People
one
like-
thing that is not happening is a Jon Snow spin-off. So,
I'm just glad.
Because the audience
Because I-
don't want it.
Because
No, but I read
enough
a
of
synopsis
Jon Snow.
that
There is
they
a
were
better
pitching.
Aegon to focus right now. That is why there's not...
since we are talking about like genre shows, how about like a CSI Miami kind of a thing happening in Westeros? Like that'll be so cool.
Nice, I like
Someone's
that.
dead, and then there are these gold
But
clothes.
isn't
like
it
someone-
something
Gold
very
clothes.
much in certain seasons they've tried to
But
do
they're like
that?
trying to find, is it a royal who's done this? Or even better, like the show will never end. They try to find the lineage of every bastard. in
The bastards of Westeros.
the bastards of Westeros.
And that ends with
Isn't that something House of Dragon
and
has
that,
been trying to
and that ends with the game show saying, "You are not the father."
That hangs on the take on.
The word of George R.R. Martin.
A Night of the Seven Kingdoms only on JioHotstar. We are not getting paid for saying this.
If you like our conversation, do watch it so we can get
Paid the next
paid.
time.
What is she saying to watch? I have no
Yeah,
idea.
we don't want
The
to
thing you
be.
need to watch is
A
A Night of the Seven Kingdoms on Hotstar. And also, while you're at it, you can also follow,
All of us.
so you're supposed to tell your Instagram handle.
Oh yeah, my Instagram handle is @madcrazyhatter_.
And that's nice. I am imagination.junkie.
I am Filmy Bug.
I am constitutional, KUNS, and you know the rest.
My name is Monica Yadav 08.
And I'm Ravan Speaks, and this one is a wrap.